WWE pay-per-view. Oh, God, review. God, stop it. Jesus, you guys are so freaking corny. Okay, folks, let's see what happened here. It's a late review. Happy holiday, bah humbug. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Jew holiday. Happy Hanukkah, happy holidays, bro. So let's make this quick so you guys can enjoy your rest of the holiday with your family and friends and all that sad stuff. We open the kickoff with an 8-man tag involving Big E, Otis, Chad Gable, Daniel Bryan against King Corbin, Cesaro Nakamura, and Sami Zayn, the Intercontinental Champion. All I know is I think the babyfaces obviously won, so there's no point even carrying on a kickoff show with barely any story. So we opened the show with AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. And ostensibly to open your show with your World Championship, especially the original one, not the goddamn secondary one that Roman Reigns makes it important. It was a fun match in the standpoint of things before Miz and Morrison showed up. We had decent Alabama slams. Some average turnbuckle spots, just the predictable slow gapping freaking climbing of a freaking ladder all because he got beaten up. And I guess to that mentality, if they think it's selling, then Miz came for stupidly out of nowhere just to cash in and make this a triple threat TLC match. Idiotic strategy ever. Coming out, he gets tossed out over the tables from Styles' bodyguard. So did Morrison, but they cut off of that immediately. Then they kept fighting on. All three of them kept fighting on the ladders until McIntyre shook off both Styles and The Miz. Now McIntyre regains the WWE Championship. It was either just give Miz the title, let him lose it at the Rumble, or do some dumb shit, because that just underutilizes the purpose of the Money in the Bank briefcase. And I've been agreeing with most people on the standpoint that yes, they should take a break from it, take more creative concepts. The Money in the Bank briefcase could do good, but it's only in the standpoint that it could be used for a heel turn, or at least for a heel. It's never over the standpoint for a babyface, that's why I failed for Otis. It's inconsistent enough, especially depending on the guy, if you're going to push him on the card unless you're fairly certain. So that's why you don't even just immediately just give it to frickin' Miz afterwards. Next up, we had the SmackDown Women's Championship. Sasha Banks against Carmella. At least they have a sentimental build of Carmella just randomly jumping Sasha Banks after her feud with Bayley. The only positive is Sasha Banks did regain her championship again, so they're actually making a competent title reign with her. The coolest thing was, I think Carmella getting caught off the apron from her sommelier, and then he tossed her to Sasha for a Hurricane Rana. We had counters into 2 super kicks off Carmella. It was like decent selling off Sasha, where Carmella's still trying to feel like incompetent, go for crappy body shots. Her smug horse face just made it more inconfidential for like Corey Graves to at least bring up some compliments for Carmella, even though Sasha's the most accomplished. Out of another reversal for the Bank statement, Sasha wins. The match was fine. I just don't want them to continue their feud unless they're going to do another rematch on SmackDown, and I guess that's potential enough because Carmella isn't as notable enough to continue doing like rematches on pay-per-view, especially when there's barely going to be a lack of over a story. But this feel like it's going to be another rematch, but like a submission match or some crap like that, because she kept doing that little awkward ass head scissor where she holds over the leg, and it looks painful, but it also looks like it's easy to just squeeze out your head out of. That's how I feel on the matter, bro. I don't have any compelling to see these women wrestle again. Not like they were terrible in the ring, they're just mediocre in the ring. Sasha just makes it work a bit. Next up, we have, of course, the New Day against Hurt Business for the Raw Tag Team titles for the 4th time. God damn. So they won the belts. I at least get what I want, that the Hurt Business hold most of the gold on Raw to at least make them feel like a dominant heelish faction, and thank God for that. I just wish that they revolved the show at least around a major faction, not freaking Retribution. Retribution hasn't been majorly focused on pay-per-view in I think 2 months, and I think that's enough to save on everybody and how Vince actually feels about the thing. He wants to try to shatter the relevance of his crap rip-off Nexus faction again. Then he wants to try to help Keith Lee. Vince is at least bringing up the standpoint that these young guys gotta suck, pal. I can't allow fat dudes and jobbers, especially a fat dude who does flips. I think Triple H is making a whack decision right now. He thinks this skit's over. Oh god. I think Vince is actually trying to take a hold of his business and not making sure Stephanie and Triple H just milk it over dry because he thinks indie guys are the way to go. And if you guys want, and I will do it, I will. I have lack of tolerance for what culture. I have a lack of tolerance since 2015. So, they have made their top 10 wrestling matches of 2020 just came out just, I think, 2 days ago, or a day ago. And I already watched the video, but if you guys want, I can go over the top 10 matches and see how, in my opinion, the matches actually were. I will rewatch all of them and just give them a full detailed synopsis, and now I truly feel, other than the AEW matches and New Japan matches are going to cover most of the lists. They're not even going to go over what actually gets through like pure storytelling and emotion and oh my god moments. They just want to go over the work rate. And that most of these matches total above half an hour. So that means that it's a good wrestling match. Small rant aside, I think it came off a surprise lumbar check. There was some cool reversals, average transitions. These guys haven't gotten their best match since, I think the first time they wrestled on Raw. There's, of course, a help out with the Trouble in Paradise. Match was pretty good, though, so it's good enough that the Hurt Business finally win their championships. So, I don't know what they're going to do for the WWE Championship because, of course, Lashley is still U.S. Champion. He didn't defend his championship because, of course, who else is in the mid-card is going to be booked that competently unless they bring back Keith Lee to take the belt away from him. That I think is a decent idea. So, hopefully, they plan on doing that. Next up, we had, of course, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler against Asuka and her surprise partner being... This is late review. We know it's Asuka anyway. I mean, Charlotte anyway. Charlotte come around still looking like that WNBA chick from the Seattle Storms. And still a she-male, yet Andrade is not going to be booked again because they keep forgetting that luchadors don't really sell that much. It was just side headlock after side headlock. I think the natural selection got it done. It was just average technician crap with just double suplexes. It was just a generic tag. Charlotte just comes back to win another championship. Over the standpoint that she's just a replacement for Lana. So this better to be a transitional thing. Because of course later on Raw, she issues that she did this for a favor because Lana was hurt. So I guess she's issuing herself a title opportunity. And yet women on the division, because there's a lack of a women's tag division, why aren't they focusing on the singles belt? Especially Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce. They didn't have to make another crappy tag team. Other than that, Charlotte and Asuka are now tag team champions. At least we don't have to see Nia and Shayna eat up screen time anymore. I beg to freaking differ. Okay, next up we have our secondary TLC matches. Dude, stop this. This match didn't need TLC. These guys, this is like Roman's first title match he's had against Kevin Owens since 2016 for a world championship since Kevin Owens was Universal Champion. There was a lackluster story of Kevin Owens just getting beaten like a dog by freaking job bait of Simp Jey Uso, plus by Roman Reigns, the freaking tribal chief, getting booked over in a high risk situation like a TLC, And these guys, this is like their first title match against each other this year. So it's kind of obvious that of course the cards were stacked against Kevin Owens, and of course he's gonna come off losing. Let a lack of star power and babyface fixture. It's better off to just let him feud with Daniel Bryan to come next month. It's just you see why we need the brand split to stop. So we had our match, and it was fine. It was a decent TLC match. A missed spear over the barricades. Pop-up powerbomb on the table. Jey Uso comes around, nearly nullifying most of the spots. I think there was a bit of a botch in some part of the match, but it didn't really stop most of the momentum, except Kevin Owens was still being beaten the crap out of with steel chairs all over the place. But Kevin still gets knocked up on the table, and that's practically the win. Roman reaches to get the belt. Like, we have two TLC matches that barely felt like they were TLC matches. They were just guys getting slapped in the back of freaking table with chairs because they can't do shots anywhere else. They can't do the spot where they put the chair on their face and just hit them on the ring post. They don't try to hit throat shots on the make it feel violent. Make it feel like of course Roman looks like he's doing this, but Kevin Owens isn't looking violent. He isn't looking like a badass. They want to make it the forceful Kevin Owens against the world underdog BS, and it still makes him look like a jobber. Babyface Kevin Owens or heel Kevin Owens is always going to have the shorter end of the stick every time in a world title feud. Just end it over already and let him feud like Sami Zayn or something. It just is the fair way to go. I don't really care. Kevin Owens isn't that bad, but he's just not good enough for the main event scene, especially consistently against a guy higher tier like Kevin. Like, this could have just been a ladder match that they could have had on SmackDown, and I would have been more invested than a TLC match on pay-per-view. That's just my opinion on the matter. I don't really care. Next up, we had, of course, our main event. Of course, the savior of all the work rate garbage crap, the Inferno match. I gotta say, folks, an Inferno match can be highly conceptually good, and this actually had a story behind it, so I can conflict that this was entirely personal. Symbolized what's been happening over the years. So Randy, so they do have a recent Me and Inferno match, but they put the fire instead of around the ring, making a ring of fire, making it look like a hostile situation. They started opening like 10 minutes with no fire. Randy Orton came around making himself an idiot already with a freaking hoodie and shorts on so he can be easily caught on fire. For no damn reason. I get that all he wears is just wrestling tights and boots. And you don't want to high risk it with giving him like 3rd-degree burns. But then the Fiend gets his complete, like most of his body already burnt out. Oh god, then he comes around summoning the fire. Oh, it looked so campy. There was suplexes, and then like when there was an elevated DDT spot, just sometimes the fire just elevates when it goes high stakes. It was spiraling out. It was around the crowd. It looked dumb. It looks like it was trying to be authentic. It just looked a bit forced. The coolest thing was Bray Wyatt getting RKO'd on fire, so that was cool. I'll give it that. But the bell did not ring after he got caught on freaking fire. That's kind of off-putting for me. Then Randy hooked up some more lighter fluid on him where he lit him on fire again, and then continued with the campiness, doing his pose like he did when he put Bray Wyatt's compound on fire. Does it end the feud? Is Bray still gonna be alive? I guess. Don't know how they're gonna sell the factor of the guy literally getting burned alive. I don't know how that's gonna work other than as crappy as the makeup they gave to Breezango when they were given those tans gone bad. So, yeah, that was a reference from bad 2018 SmackDown for you. So you know how much I want to start drinking, man. I'm in the legal age, but I try not to. So, that's practically the show. I thought that the Inferno match was interesting, but I think completely like buyer's remorse. I thought it could have been done better, way more adult. They could have had Colt. They could have had Alexa come back, try to interfere. Some more, like probably more weaponry could have been involved. They could have just broken a bit more stuff. Actually, give it more high risk of Randy actually getting into the fire or something. Give them like they did try to give him more no selling. At least you could sell the factor of Randy not giving like 17 RKOs to oversell the factor of Bray being like indestructible or something. So I guess they did that right. Other than that, I just thought this was a fair pay-per-view. I don't think it was the best. I think it was the better ones of the year because it didn't seem like they overdid its welcome. It's decent to see Charlotte back. They did the smart decisions of keeping the title on competent world champions and give it to the Hurt Business. And average story with a basic payoff. I just thought it was a bit overdone with the dummy on fire thing for Randy to just what looks like the conclusion of a feud, but they know they're going to continue it because this is the first time they've wrestled since 2017. So that's practically all I got for this review. Other than that, I want to just say happy holidays, blessings to all. Usually, I'm not that nice, and come after Christmas, everybody gets it. But I'll do 2 uploads this day because it's Christmas. That's practically it. Like, comment, subscribe. I love all the growth I've had. Sure, it wasn't what I completely wanted, but 18 plus subscribers from what I had last year with just 18, got near 30. Hopefully, you can get it to 100 soon and grow then some. But that's it coming from me.